Hey everybody. All right, we're going to talk about dynamite. And we're going to be a little disorganized because I had some dental work done and today was the day. So, starting right off, we're going to get into the juiciest bit first, which is the John Moxley Will Ospreay thing that happened. We get to see these guys playing handball. There was a video that came out recently of them all playing catch. I like that they have group activities that they do. It builds teamwork. It builds camaraderie. I wonder if any of that camaraderie building is like sleepovers or going camping or playing Mario Party, because all of those things will test your togetherness. Another thing, going on group vacations, but I don't know where this is. This is probably what that is. Also, everybody has to be shirtless. Everybody. No shirts. Only like skins only. And they're playing handball in a quite dangerous area. Like any one of them could absolutely just trample right over Mox and Yuta, who's already suffering down here on the ground. Osprey is just chilling. Like if all he had to do is neck bridges, he could have probably did that without the Death Riders, is all I'm saying. But you gotta love that they have their little strip of mat that they take with them. It works, it works. And so I don't know what Moxley is trying to teach Will here. How to torture Yuta, probably. He's like, you gotta attack him. You gotta go in there and attack him. And I don't think Will Ospreay listens to a single word that comes out of Mox's mouth the entire time. Dude is just chilling the whole time. He's torturing Yuta, who's into it. Like, Yuta's totally down with what's going on. He could be playing handball, but nah, he's hanging out here with young boy Billy, which, Daniel, I'm not gonna have you call me young boy Billy. That's just not gonna happen, Daniel. But I think that this is more or less them trying to get Will to work a more grounded style to prolong his career, which makes sense. But personally, as a Will Ospreay fan, I don't want to see that. Straight up, I'm not really the biggest fan of the Death Riders philosophy. They've put on great matches and they've done good stuff with it, but the idea of everybody has to be a killer is, I don't know, it's too samey for everyone in the promotion, which is why I didn't really like the Death Riders overarching storyline that led to this point, because it was every week you gotta be exactly, you have to come out of a wrestling factory and everybody has to wear black trunks and everybody has to be like Moxley, and that's the only way the promotion will prosper. And then Tony Storm was like, hold my powdered wig, and was like, nah, I'm gonna entertain you. And I was like, that's what I want, that right there, give me that. So I'm not a big fan of two concurrent storylines of let's take entertaining dudes, or, you know, in Will's case, he's a very charismatic guy. No shade on your boy Anthony Bowens. It's just he's a little lacking in the charisma department, so he can kind of, I don't know, he can benefit from this situation where Will is like, you're fine. You're fine the way you are. You're perfect the way you are, baby boy. Kiss him on the forehead. And I think that Anthony Bowens has his strengths as well, but I don't think he's going to find what those strengths are in the ops. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like him to me. But good on Will Ospreay being able to pull off this neck bridge for as long as he did, for as long as Moxley just continues to torture poor Yuta. And they're playing handball. At any point, a handball could just come flying from out of screen and bap one of them in the face, or you can even have a runaway pack trample one of you dudes. So, not a safe place, especially for Yuta, who is not even looking. Yuta at least try to, like, put up a fight, put up some resistance. But I think this is what Yuta wants. Look how happy. Everybody here is happy, except for Will, who is mostly bored. He looks mostly bored. I do like that Billy has his own BBC style trunks. BBC. I always make that mistake. BCC. You know they did that on purpose. You know they want you to make that mistake. But the BBC. Nope, I did it again. The BCC he has his own version of those tights, and I think that that's cute. The little green bee on him. The green makes me think that he was ready to have a match on the team of Edge, Cope and Cage, uh, and the Young Bucks with the black and green. They all matched. That was the best part of that match. Besides the fact that it was an incredible, fun party match where things were just happening, people just flying all over the place. It was just a good time, right? I know. My goodness, this is quite quite forward of you, Jonathan Moxley. And then John is like, after he kills him some more, and they're both having a great time. No matter how forwards or back I go in this video, Yuta and Mox are enjoying themselves. This is like a picnic to them. Also, the weather is horrible and gray, and that's probably why they're outside. If the sun was outside, no, get back indoors. Poor Pac can't handle the sun. Billy either, probably. But then we get the scene that launched 1,000 ships with John Moxley just standing out here with his boobs out, just standing on top of a building, boobs out, in the middle of what looks like a map from Arc Raiders, with his hat on, and I don't know, something about this is giving Wrestle Castle in San Francisco, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. But I'm not upset about this. Who's upset about this? I don't see a single person upset. Not even Will Ospreay, who's not listening. You know what's happening here in Will Ospreay's brain? Dude is thinking about Krispy Kreme. Dude has that monkey with the cymbals just clanging over and over, because Moxley is doing what Moxley does, and that's just kind of run his mouth. Yes, the Blackpool Combat Club. That needs to be on a shirt. Thank you. I got the chat this time, so that's great. I for some reason I couldn't access the chat last time, which was lame. Yeah. Yuta seems to be deep into it though. This is his thing. This is what he enjoys. Yeah, they are the Death Riders now. But and you know what? The Death Riders is even more like sexually charged name. I think I know exactly what Moxley is doing. Like, I feel like the that one dog, I know what you are, John Moxley. And he's trying to mold our innocent boy Will into this evil sex cult. And I love that later on Samoa Joe even says, "Hey bro, you guys are in some weird kind of sex cult. I don't leash my friends. I let them live. I let them be free." And Will Ospreay is now weighing whether or not he wants to be leashed. Oh yeah, absolutely, he's lost in his eyes. There's nothing that Moxley is saying is penetrating Will Ospreay's brain at all. But then again, I'm that way with Moxley too. Can you imagine, being like John Moxley's kid, and having conversations with your dad that are like this? Like, John Moxley, you're John Moxley's kid, and he takes you out into the mountains, and you're like, "Dad, I'm 4, I'm tired of hiking." And he's like, "We got 20 more miles, kid, to make it up that mountain." You know what? I think they do need Bryan Danielson back. They need him to take them on hikes. But yeah, no, this scene was fantastic. It was loving. It launched 1,000 ships. I'm staring. I'm looking very respectfully. John Moxley and then Will Ospreay is trying not to look. That's why he's looking so hard at Mox's face. He's trying not to look down because Mox will be like, "Hey, my eyes are up here." It's the opposite for Pac. Pac is so short. He's just standing over to the side. "Oi, my eyes are down here." Oh, I'm so sorry, Pac. I have no idea what region of England that accent is from, so I don't know how to properly find it online and practice it but I'll do better, Pac. I'll do better. Yeah, this segment's fantastic. Look at that. This is not gonna make people normal. And you know what? Maybe that's what wrestling needs to do. Speaking of which, we have we had that match I was talking about where Cope and Cage and the Conglomeration. Oh my god. It was Cope, Cage, the Conglomeration, and the Young Bucks. Because I know the Young Bucks were involved. They were all dressed in matching colors. Not orange. I mean, dude has a set color palette, you know? With Pac, though, you wouldn't stare at his hairline, you stare right over his head. Just completely right over his head. And he's just, while he's just trembling with rage. The Christian's, like, slutty little turtleneck is just the right amount of, like, skin to get the girlies on board. Also, he bled later on in the match, so that drove people crazy. One thing I will give Christian, he's like in the best shape of his entire career, and it's a shame that he punishes everyone by wearing the armless turtleneck, even though he took that from the Cloud school of sexy shirts. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter how old you get. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you get like a fine wine. Christian like got better with age and spite. I think he needed some of that spite. If you think about him in TNA, how he was there, he is a totally different dude. This dude has not just aged, but he's like his childlike wonder gone. Grizzled bastard now. Speaking of grizzled bastard, they do fight the FTR in this match. This match is fantastic, as always. I do have to bring up my one problem with party matches like this. Please, for the love of Pete, just say that they run on Lucha rules, which is if wrestlers leave the ring and come back in, that's a tag. Because I'm so tired of seeing dissertations from WWE fans who's never seen Lucha matches go like, there was no tags, this referee sucks. And it's like, yeah, in this match specifically, because I remember FTR had a contract where their matches requires you to hold a tag rope. Literally, they're the only two that should have tags happen. You know, find whiskey is a great way to put it. Thank you. Aged whiskey is Christian, definitely. Sorry, I had to hydrate there for a second. But no, this match was fun. Party matches are always fun with the Young Bucks. I want literally every show, I want a party match. I want a scramble. Just give me one. And no matter how bad the rest of the show is, I'm going to be like, damn, that scramble was so fun. But yeah, this match was awesome. You got the really cool shot of Christian bleeding. You had Christian kicking some dude in the nuts. You had the pocket moment with these two, which sounds way worse when you call it the pocket moment. But I don't know. I really like Christian and Orange interacting. They're such a fun combination of dudes. But yeah, this match ruled. The Young Bucks are awesome as usual. Anybody who says the Young Bucks are bad at wrestling, I don't know what you think wrestling is, but I want to, you know, what do you do when you go to like Cirque du Soleil? You're like, I wish they were more cerebral. It's a performance. I'm not going to be mad because I'm, you know, entertained by the performers. Like, what is even happening here? I know what's happening here. These two are about to get their legs kicked out of their legs. In front of their hometown. In front of the Flair country. Or as I'm starting to call it, James country. Shout out to Deadlock. Give those boys a check out. Help the... I'm going to give them the rub real quick. But definitely check out Deadlock. It's the best wrestling podcast that exists, in my opinion. Anyway, moving on. That's all I have to say. I'm not even going to have to say anything else. That's just it. Anybody that knows me knows I am a huge fan of Brian Cage and all his nonsense, because I'm also a huge fan of X-Men. Me and him, I feel like we can just chat for hours. Cage, look, bro, I will give you my number. Please call me and make sure you have a block of time ready. Make sure you have like 2 hours set aside to talk about the Siege Perilous, because we need to talk about it. And apparently the X-Men are going back to Australia. Call me, we'll talk. Speaking of call me, we'll talk, he had on Instagram the day, the day he came back, which is yesterday. He put on Instagram himself, like, with the claws on, doing Wolverine stuff, and he was like jumping and around and stuff. So I was like, okay, his knee looks like it's in good shape. Maybe he'll be back soon. Boom, he shows up. Beautiful head of hair, fantastic shape, running around like whoa. Saves Kevin Knight's life in this match by like grabbing him before he falls on his head. Incredible strength. Who better? Exactly, that's right. It's him. It's Cage. He's the best. Number one. So glad he's back. I'm so glad that the Murder Machines are still a unit. That is another team that I have to add to my wrestling family tree. It's something I'm working on, and I hopefully will have ready for you guys by Sunday, next time we talk wrestling, when we do the Collision and weekly roundup or whatever. But yeah, I'm very excited to do that. Great match for the TNT title. I honestly thought Kevin Knight was going to get challenged by Speedball. And literally every time they're standing next to each other, I'm like, please, Kevin, don't betray him. Because I can't see Speedball betraying anybody. Speedball is such a precious being. I can't see Speedball doing anything evil. There's no evil bones. Another wrestler who has no evil bones, Bandito. No evil bones in his body, which means it has to be Brody that kills him. And Brody already, like, I think he posted it on Twitter or something. Somebody was like, yeah, you should turn heel on Bandito. Imagine the heat. And he just responded, no. So, I respect that. No Brody on this program. So we got, I'm sorry, that was loud. So we got Billy Goat versus Ace Austin. Ace Austin honestly impressed me more than Billy in this match. And Ace Austin's been impressing me this entire time. He's so good. This is just the end of the match, so you only get Ace Austin like over here getting his shit kicked in, and he of course loses with a submission move because Will is like, I gotta protect my neck, and I'm like, no, flip right now. But no, Ace Austin is the kind of guy you want to have a grounded match with because he's still going to be entertaining, even though the match is going to be more grounded. He's going to do handstands. He's going to do incredible feats of leg strength. Dude's entire moveset is doing squats, and I am impressed. How do you get legs like that? Release the workout plan. And if it's just like as many Hindu squats as it takes to make you pee blood, I'm not interested, thank you. But great match. Will did technical stuff. The boys are fighting over him, and Joe is like, yeah, I'm not weird about it. But maybe Will wants it to be weird. Have you asked Will about his freak flag? We know about the I was going to do it again. I was going to call them the BBC. We know about the Death Riders and their freaky stuff. Can Will be freaky? That's what we're trying to figure out. Honestly, this storyline would be really cool if Anthony Bowens and Will switch places. Like, they both decide, hey, this group is not the group for me. I want to be over there. And Will's like, hey, I want to be over there in the cool-ass judo club with my boy Shibata. That, because him and Shibata, I'm sure, have spent many a night hanging out in Japan. Me and Bender have something in common, and that we love flippy shit. But yeah, this storyline is getting interesting. At first, I didn't like, Bowens essentially doing the same story. But because they're interacting, I'm like, okay, this is on purpose. This is not a case of like it was before when two characters would be on the show doing the exact same shit. And you're like, hey, did anybody talk to each other before they had their matches? And I remember that was a big reason that Mark Henry was hired, from what I remember back then about that, is to keep things consistent. They've been doing a great job, even though Mark Henry doesn't work there anymore. Maybe Mark Henry was bad at keeping things consistent. But then he's only one man. One really, really, really strong man. Let's see what else we got on the docket. We're gonna try to make sure it's not loud as hell. Nope, I failed. Make things not loud, failure. I will give people their complaint this week about not a lot of ladies. They did put a lot of ladies in one match, as you can see here. There's a ton of ladies here, and Taz. And I bet Taz is over here playing under the thing. He's playing his PSP so that he can play Final Fantasy, brother. Gotta have Yuna. So Yuna is also in the image. I also was mentioning to my friends that I watch wrestling with while we watch it live. I think the best gear in this match is a toss up between Tekla's like Spy Family strapped legging situation and like metal badass thing that she's doing versus the very simple, straight up 90s diva. Not even diva. I would like to. She's giving like Lita, Trish Stratus era vibes. Victoria is the one that I'm thinking about. She, especially with the heart shaped like window. I don't know, something about chicken pants while everybody else is cheeks out makes her stand out. I love that for her. Also, MVP, most improved wrestler. I'm giving it to Sky Blue. For the past 3 weeks, Sky Blue has been must see. Every single match she's had has been a banger. She's going in there. I don't know who she's training with or what her new regimen looks like, but damn, girl, keep it up. You're doing fantastic. Maybe it's Tekla, you know? Who knows? Maybe I don't know what she's doing, but I need her to again. Tell Brian Cage to give you my number, and we'll talk about the training regimen. You send me over what you're doing because I need to be doing it, especially in the gym. You know, you and Brian Cage can send you your gym plans as well. Julia, thank you, Julia Hart. Julia's hard to remember only because she seems to be the odd woman out in the Triangle of Madness, even though it's like her iconography is front and center in the group. I feel like she's faded into the background because Tekla's larger than life. Sky Blue is out here turning into a New Japan Junior, and you know, even though she's good and doing awesome shit, poor Julia's stuck in the background. So I'm really hoping that she breaks out. Also, big ups to Sheeta, who has a fantastic new like asshole gimmick she's really working really well. I felt like Sheeta, no matter how much she fought and how much she did, she just felt like a blue chipper that just, you know, happy to be here and I'm gonna like win all the belts. And while that's fine, that's not gonna get many people interested in what you're doing. So, you know, this new character, spectacular. I love this character. And yeah, Sky Blue is also really killer in a deathmatch. You're right that every time she gets a chance to prove herself, she does. Like, I've made a huge turnaround on Sky Blue. I was like, whatever. But now I'm like, damn, Sky Blue's having a match? I need to know what's going on. I do believe there was also another women's match. I can't even remember. So like, I'll give the people complaining that Tony needs to do more with the women a little bit here. But I will say, at least there are multiple storylines with the women concurrently happening that don't involve title belts. That's huge because that's something that like I remember being a big problem in wrestling in general, is that the only storylines happening were ones for belts. So seeing storylines here with like Sheeta and Chris Statlander where they're just having a messy friendship situation. I don't know. I'm just heavily invested. Also, the Who Killed Tony Storm angle is, you know, simmering in the background, and that's also awesome. So I'm really liking where they're going with the women's division. Although this week I see where some people are coming from. We probably could have had another women's match instead of Moxley rambling for hours, then coming out and having another segment with Willie Bruv, because I think that you could have had that match and segment on Collision. and maybe giving another woman a shot. I think we need to stop double dipping with certain wrestlers. Um, because you have two shows, in a week. Spread that out and make the other show worth watching, like, because if you said, hey, oh man, Collision's gonna feature Ace Austin versus Will Ospreay, oh shit, if I have plans on Saturday, I might cancel them. I love me some Ace Austin. This match also had a fantastic situation that went on around the outside, where like they gave the crowd a front row seat to all the stuff. Also, loving the signs. I'm loving that signs are making a comeback, and fun signs. Love the Holy Sheeta signs. There was a speaking of Deadlock, a Johnny sign back there. There was also a sign for Rebel, and that's always good to see. I hope Rebel, if she's watching, sees all the support, and it's what's happening with Rebel is so heartbreaking. I really wish her all the best. She was spectacular, a spectacular part of Britt Baker's character. Honestly, she was a main reason of why that character worked. And it makes me so sad, her situation. Tony Storm was also killed by Maggie Simpson. The chat is on fire tonight. Yeah, Maggie Simpson. Do you think that Tony Storm tried to steal candy from Maggie Simpson? Because I can absolutely see that happening. I can see Tony not only trying to steal the candy, but when she doesn't get the candy, like she's fighting with the baby and she tries to pull the lollipop, I can see Tony kicking the stroller away, like, get out of here. And then Maggie whips out a pistol. Because now Maggie has already she's already taken a shot at Mr. Burns. She's now, trained. Maggie has trigger discipline now. That's who did it. Dang. Wow. Thanks, chat. Yeah, nothing but love for Rebel. We love Rebel up in this house. What else we got on the darket? We can mute it before we open it. Bam. We solve that problem. This man is struggling. He is fighting for his life. Darby had a fantastic match with Takeshita, and there's a shot that Ryan Loco took where Darby is being like beeled across the ring by Takeshita effortlessly, and it's spectacular. Also, great sign placement. I love that fans know now direction. They know camera stuff. They're like, quick, he's up there. I know the camera's up there. I'm looking at the Contron. I can see that I'm there. This is literally the perfect time to hold up my sign. Big up to all the fans who have great sign timing. Love this sign. And love Darby resigned to his fate up there on the top rope. He's just like, yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got up here. Great man. Oh, he didn't. That's not that's not a good time for Darby. Yeah, this match was incredible. As usual, Darby got the piss beaten out of him. But, as usual, Darby wins again. I love that Takeshita tried to, Aaron Yeager bite his own hand in order to stop himself from tapping out. It just makes me want to see that match with him and Okada that much more. I hope everything is okay in Okada world. I know he had to return back to Canada. Canada. He had to return, Canadian Kazuchika Okada, eh? It's Okada. He's the poutine maker. He's went back to Japan for an emergency. I hope everything's okay. And I hope when we do see him again, he's doing all right. Because, one thing we got to remember about wrestling and wrestlers is these are real people and they deal with real stuff. And this is just TV, and I hope that real life is treating Okada well. Really cool that they quickly patched up a storyline and said, bam, Takeshita's in it now, and not only is Takeshita going to be in that match, but we're gonna have a storyline. It makes them hate each other more. Like, oh, Okada had to go do something, so Takeshita steps in and does the thing, and Takeshita had a chance to win the title. That's huge. Takeshita could have just been like, haha, Okada, you snooze, you lose, and that would have been an even cooler story. And because you have that doubt in the back of your mind that, oh, if he wins, the storyline can move in this direction, a la No Mercy with the branching storylines. I mentioned that a lot. No Mercy literally had a branching storyline that you can see. You can like watch the storyline map, and I think they need to bring that back in video games. Honestly, personally, that is what you should have did. THQ Nordic or whoever was in charge, Aki of the AEW Forever game. There's little nuance like that you could have taken and used. You know what? If anybody at TKO, get my number from Brian Cage and Sky Blue and just give me a call and we'll work on what makes a wrestling game a dope wrestling game, because AEW needs a dope wrestling game. I'm waiting. I can't just keep playing WWE games because those games suck. They are terrible. But yeah, this match was hot fire. And then we have MJF. But let's talk about... let's go back in time a bit and talk about MJF getting to see like his like worst nightmare happen in front of him. This is the best segment of the week, I think, outside of Jon Moxley boobing all over the place. This scene was spectacular, and I felt like Max was like had a hand in writing this, you know? It felt very much like the Jericho dinner debonair in its comedy. But I love that everybody he passes here. Renee looks like she's into it. Renee looks like she's in on it. She's also into it. She's like, fuck you, MJF. This is hilarious. But as she's leaving here, right? Look at the smile on her face. She's knew that this would happen. I have a feeling in kayfabe she set this up. Yeah, Renee is Rod Serling in this episode of The Twilight Zone. And you know, he's like, what the hell? I love that they were like, fuck it, send giant, jacked, bald security guy back there, who looks like if this guy like ate the security guard from Jerry Springer, if you remember that guy. What was his name? I don't even remember his name, but I remember he was popular enough that he got his own talk show, which is wild. It didn't last very long. He's a security guard. It's not like he had much charisma. He just had a look. He would have made a much better wrestler than a talk show host. Then they said, hey, fuck it. Let's get some bald production guys together. Make sure you give MJF the stink eye. Just make sure that he knows what he's in for. Just make sure, all the production guys. And I bet they're all standing together talking about razors. Like, what do you shave your head with? I bet the guy in the Hawaiian shirt's really cool, dude. I don't know. He comes to work in a Hawaiian shirt. You got to give him cred. That dude knows what he's about. And then you have these two over here. First of all, what are they talking about? Are they talking about like TNA stuff? Because get a microphone over there right now. I need the TNA cast featuring Sanjay and Christopher Daniels. Give me all the juicy secrets. I hope they're actually in the Dark Side of the Ring episodes that are going to come out. The first 3 are going to be TNA special. I am both excited and horrified for it. Dark Side of the Ring is always one of those shows that's horrifying. Which car do you think belongs to which dude? I think Christopher Daniels. I think the black car for Christopher Daniels because Fallen Angel. But they both drove here in ginormous trucks. They were into the rental place. Give me the biggest truck. A spectacular scrub that I just happened to end up on the perfect picture of Max here. Can we also tell Max that he can probably get this scarf in different colors? I don't think the scarf goes with every suit he has, and this is one of them. It doesn't work here. But I did love this. Please put Johnny on TV, Tony. Love me. Because that's all he had to do. He just showed up and was jacked, and everybody was like, yeah! You can get that reaction every week if you put him on TV more, Tony, please. But then you also had my favorite, Tommaso Ciampa. Those are just more bald guys that work here. Neither of these dudes brought this rental car here. This is someone else's. And they're just leaning on it. It looks like they sent the same security guard to walk through twice. Oh, he got a big pop. Not just with the crowd. He got a big pop with me. Also, he knows what's happening, and he's like, yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. And then he gave him a kiss, like, oh, yeah, sweetheart, you're going to be looking real good bald. Bald is beautiful, MJF. And you're going to be even hotter. Also, can we talk about the man got his dogs out? Ciampa, please. Socks, brother, please. People in AEW have like a fear of socks. What's going on over there? I agree, MJF. He's like, did that man have his fucking dogs out? So yeah, then I love that Ricochet is here. He's like here to rub it in because he is also bald. But then behind him, two beautiful long-haired men. I love that the thing that is his, that he like, Ricochet surrounded himself with long-haired people. I think that's hilarious, and it's something I didn't notice until I actually saw this segment. Also, I love the fact that they just wear blazers. They just wear vests, no shirts, just vests. Excellent look, fantastic look. I could also I understand that he doesn't have his hat on because bald, but I really like the fact that he wears a Eagles hat for heat. Fuck the Eagles, bro. Screw them. I'm not even from Detroit, but I'm down with the Lions this year. They did great work for me in fantasy last year. But yeah, he's like, they're both of them are like, oh yeah, our hair, we have hair and it's great. So yeah, fantastic segment. The best segment, even better than Jon Moxley's boobs. There he is. There's the man himself. But let's talk about this graphic. So we got the Owen finally. The brackets for the Owen. So I love this year's brackets. Every single Owen I complained that the matches were too predictable. But now we got two people who, like Hazuki, I've never seen her wrestle, and neither have I seen Saray. So I'm super hyped to see how they do against Persephone and Sky Blue, two people who are kicking ass right now. These matches can't be bad. So I'm very excited to see them. Like, I'm genuinely, these two are probably, I'm more hyped about these matches than I am about the other man's Owens. They have the most exciting matches in it. And then Athena's back on the main roster. Let's fucking go. She's fighting against Mina, who's dealing with her own stuff with she's dealing with her own drama with the Who Killed Tony Storm situation. And then you have champion Willow Nightingale versus Windsor, who's like just Alex Windsor showed up, and immediately I was like, oh, she's awesome. I love her. I love her energy. I love that she's like, she fucks you up. She hits hard. Fantastic. I really love the cut of Alex Windsor's jib, and I'm super excited for the women's tournament this year. Only one of them is going to take place on Double or Nothing though, and that's Willow's match, because I guess she's the champion, right? Makes sense. If Alex Windsor wins this match, she has a claim for a title shot, so that's cool. Very excited about the women's Owen. The men's Owen is good too, especially because it has more of that unpredictability to it. I have no idea what's going to happen here. And I'm sorry, my head's in the way. I just noticed that I'm in the way of the bottom bracket there. But don't worry, I'll tell you, it's Dangerous Mark Davis and Jungle Jack Perry, who both have cool little epithets in their name. That match is going to be awesome. It's going to be a rematch of that match where Mark Davis took the title from Jack. And if Jack wins, I guess he has another rematch. It'll be Jack Perry, Mark Davis 3. And hopefully that match will be a lot more hopefully that match will be longer. The TNT match they had at the Fairway to Hell was fairly short, and I want to see them do more stuff. So the women's bracket is pretty hard to figure out who is gonna win because there's two like relative unknowns to me at least. So with this particular one, it's a little bit easier because I'm more familiar with everybody's game. So I think for the Samoa Joe Will Ospreay, that is going to be on the pay-per-view, and I'm assuming it's because it has storyline implications. I don't Whoever wins that match is going to have a leg up on their wrestling philosophy. So I don't even know what to do with that one. I don't think Jungle Jack Perry is going to beat Mark Davis this soon. So I'm going for Mark Davis to beat Jack Perry and fight the winner of Joe and Ospreay. But because of the crazy storyline implications of that match, yeah, I think one of those two, Joe or Will, are gonna move on to the finals. Then you have Swerve versus Bandito, and then you have Claudio versus Brody. So this could go to a Brodito explodes match, or Swerve can hurt Bandito and be like, hey, I'm fucking dangerous, fuck you, and then Brody gets revenge. But can Brody get past Claudio? Like, I don't know. These are fucking battles, and I'm so hyped for the tournament this year. We eating good. We are eating good. So now that was Dynamite. Let's talk about some wrestling news. John Cena is like, yeah, the John Cena Classic idea is still a work in progress. So far what we know is that it's gonna take place on the anniversary of his retirement match with Gunther, and it's a popularity contest, so it's kind of pointless to have the guys and gals go out there if gals also can win a John Cena Classic match. I don't think they mentioned them. I think it's just for the men so far, but it's essentially a popularity contest from jump, and you don't even need to watch these matches. So I don't think the John Cena Classic is going to get much viewership. People are going to look at the brackets and go, oh yeah, I like that guy, I'm voting for him, and then they're going to go about their day. Not only is this going to not draw viewership because people can just tell you who they like by looking at them, if this is based on, if there's like indie guys or guys from TNA or AEW like that are in this classic, and they could just get fan votes based on the fact that they were somewhere else. And that's not fair to the people that are in NXT that are air quotes homegrown talent. So I don't know. I think the John Cena Classic is stupid. And everybody thinks it's stupid. But Lance Storm brought up the fact that, hey, this could be a way to shortchange people on their contracts. Like, hey, the fans don't think you're very popular, therefore, we're going to restructure your contract. We're going to give you less than minimum wage. Arrivederci. Because from what I understand, the NXT wrestlers already make minimum wage, which is brutal, considering that every day they're putting their lives on the line in the ring. Like, you can hit the ropes wrong and die. You can do a plancha and die. And they're like, nah, that's worth maybe $300 a show. Pretty soon they're just going to be handing out hot dogs and handshakes. The way this company is, the way shareholders in WWE have just been grinding blood from a stone here. But yeah, the John Cena Classic is stupid. Figure it out, guys. They have time to change how it works, especially since John says it's still a work in progress. That kind of gives them an out, and they can kind of try to fix it now, but I don't think they will. So we got former AEW Tag Champions contract maybe reportedly expiring soon, and it's Big Bill, and honestly, I could see Big Bill going to AEW. I could see him going to NXT. He'd make a great heater for Ricky Starks or Ethan Page. And I think he deserves another shot in WWE because I think he has what they want, which is tall. You can't teach that. I like Big Bill. Sorry, hydrating. I like Big Bill. He's a fellow New Yorker. And I love that his name was just Big Bill. But I felt like, I don't know, he never really got a storyline he could sink his teeth into. And I don't think Jericho helped him at all. The only person Jericho kind of helped is Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is the only person, and I think Sammy needs Jericho more than ever right now because I can see him also being on the chopping block. So you got full Double or Nothing teams. We got the full Double or Nothing card as well, but the like teams for the big old match are right here. You got Jericho, the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. Sorry, because I was thinking, did they change it from the Hurt Syndicate to the Hurt Business? And then I had to sit here and be like, no, I think it's the Hurt Syndicate. So yeah, it's Jericho, his friends, the Hurt Syndicate, who he paid, Kenny Omega, because Jack Perry said, how about the Elite? So they added the fucking Elite to it, which we need Matt and Nick in a Stadium Stampede. We just have to have it. Also, I hope they wear the jerseys with the special numbers on it. I'm a big fan of that. I liked it when they did it in WWE's or WWF at the time. Did their like football special and everybody had funny numbers on their shirts. I need that for this again because they did it last time and I need it again this time. And the other team, we got the Demand, Dangerous Mark Davis, Andrade, and the Dogs. Some of the Dogs. What's up with the other guy? What happened to Kid? Did he get hurt, I wonder? Let me know somewhere in the comments or in chat or at on my socials. What's going on with Kid? I actually started to like him and then he disappeared. 6 and 7 is 6 and 7 Big Bill and Starks, because that would be great. So yeah, we got that's that match. It's a big ass match. I'm very happy that Andrade and Mark Davis got spots in this match with the Elite and Jericho and Lashley. Like, they get a chance to really prove themselves in a match full of like tried and tested wrestlers. And yeah, Clark Connors and David Finlay are in there too, but they've kind of already like, you know, they've already kind of proven themselves in New Japan. Mark Davis was also like, I believe Mark Davis is also there in the United Empire, but I'm not sure what all he did there. I love Aussie Open, which is a thing still. It's just they don't use the booty slapping music anymore because they come out to the Don Callis Brown Note. Oh, the Bucks are 6 and 7. Who's 8 and 9? And who's afraid of because 6 afraid of 7 because 7, 8, 9. So who's 9 in the 6-7 scenario? I also want to bring up real quick, as a New Yorker, I would not buy the t-shirt that represents this because you got all the goddamn colors wrong for the trains. This drives me nuts whenever anybody does like a Subway shirt or Subway like design. I know nobody cares, but the A and the E are blue. The W, I believe, is yellow. The D is orange, so you got that right. There is no O, so I would have given you an orange O. But the N is blue. I mean, the N is yellow. The 2 is red. Again, you could have just went with a yellow 0. That's fine. But the 2 is red, and the 6 train is green. Please, somebody. Eddie Kingston needs to grab somebody and be like, who the fuck designed this fucking shirt? Get over here right now. I need you to come and check out the train lines with me. These are all wrong. But yeah, also, news story that bums me out is Asuka's future is up in the air, according to WWE. She sort of retired, but because they made such a big deal out of it on TV, I think it's a work. You don't make that much of a big deal about a wrestler retiring on TV, and then they just retire. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's, especially the way they had Io watching her leave. It's a work. Get Asuka's taking probably a 6-month vacation. She'll be back. Maybe she's homesick. I wonder if Asuka I don't want to speculate, but I wonder if Asuka is pulling a John Moxley and going, yeah, I'm retired. Just kidding. I'm doing a fucking Stardom retirement tour. Fuck the police. I wonder if that's what's going on. That's just my thoughts, but I don't think she's actually going anywhere. Last news story, and then we're out of here. I would play some games, but like I said before, dental work. Uh, this much talking has been enough for today. Triple H and Stephanie are aware of ad issues only because a celebrity told them about it, and in a place where they couldn't really escape. So yeah, they said that, well, we're aware of it. And is anything gonna happen? Probably not, because they don't really run the company. Shareholders do. So yeah, I don't think anything's gonna change. They did say that they're gonna make house show tickets cheaper because they're like, all right, you poor unwashed masses, go to the shows that aren't televised if you want to take your family to a show. WWE is trying to capture that old boxing aura of only celebrities wearing diamonds are coming to watch our events, and that they want that optically for television, and that's not the wrestling audience. Yeah, they know it sucks, but they're not going to do anything about it. Even if they wanted to do something about it, they don't actually run the show. Triple H has a shareholder's hand up his ass, puppeting him and telling him what to say and do. So, I mean, that's why Kevin was like, let him run the fucking company. But that's not how shareholders work. It's their company now, and they need to make as much money possible. More money than can be made is what they want. So get ready for more really shitty, underhanded tactics to take your money away, because they love that shit. And they will continue to do it. So if you like that, support them. But if you don't, there's so much more wrestling out there. It's insane. There's every weekend, just pick up Triller, and there's wrestling on there all fucking weekend, including Armored MMA, which I've gotten really into. And that's way better than the Slim Jim table or a badass entrance being interrupted by an ad. An entrance you don't even know whose entrance it is because the CFO dollar signs have such shitty ass AI music that they just run a trap beat over that nobody's music is recognizable. So support them if you dare. And when you get screwed over, you're the only one to blame for it. But yeah, I love me some wrestling. Yeah, exactly, chat. It doesn't even need to be AEW. There's New Japan, there's CMLL, GCW, ICW is popping off right now. Insane Clown Posse Wrestling is doing great. Hell, you got local shows. If no matter what state you're in, you have a local big indie, I recommend you go and support them instead, especially with your money. They usually are doing a show once a month or once a week. Find out what your big indie is and go there. And maybe, I'll spotlight a big indie once every episode. So one that's popping in my brain just because I have friends in Minnesota is First Wrestling. Support First Wrestling. They're awesome. And they had a show in the Mall of America, like old WCW did that one time, and it looked awesome. So definitely give First Wrestling a try if you're in the Minnesota area. If you're in the New Jersey area, definitely give GCW a try. And like I said before, I'll come back with more big indies per your state. MLP, thank you, chat. MLP is the Canadian wrestling that has just been put on TSN. I got to deal with TSN. You don't gotta watch WWE if you live in Canada. Watch TSN. Check out Major League Pro. There's even TNA. I wouldn't watch that unless you're really into that. But there's also NWA also has a TV show that they just started airing on television. There's no excuse anymore. You don't gotta watch WWE. But that's it for me tonight. Thank you all for coming and hanging out and doing this nonsense with me. I will see you all Sunday. We will wrap up the week. talk about Collision, and we'll get into some more video games. Probably more mouse. We'll see where that goes, though. I don't know. I don't quite know yet where the wind is blowing on what game I want to play on Sunday, but you'll find out when I do. Thanks so much for hanging out, and stop watching WWE. There's more out there. Oh, I'm sorry, Maple Leaf Pro. Before I go, correction. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. MLP. I don't like that acronym, but it's what we got. Support the indies.